How's it going?
It's going good. Atheism is chaos.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Yeah, there's some arbitrary views, absurd views in atheism.
So well, I think that's true of theism too. Right? I thought you were saying atheism simpliciter is chaos. No, I agree there's chaotic views of atheism as there is for theists.
Okay, well then if you agree that atheism is...
Do you think atheism simpliciter is chaos?
I don't know what you're saying, so I'm just saying atheism is chaos. Like atheism
archetypes of... Oh, you are saying wholesale it's chaos.
Yeah, atheism as a whole is chaos.
How do you see that?
You just agreed with me. So now you're taking it back? You're walking back?
No, I denied simpliciter. I agree that particular, views of atheism can be absurd or chaotic, right? But that's true for theism that you would agree too, right? Surely you agree that some theistic views are completely chaotic.
We're simply talking about atheism. We're just talking about atheism.
You're talking about atheism simpliciter, then I just deny this. I don't see why I would think that.
Yeah, what's your moral view? Do you have are you an anti-realist? You're a realist?
Wait, but this isn't a question about my view, right? You're saying that atheism is chaos.
Oh, you're not an atheist?
How you defend that?
You're not an atheist?
Yeah, but my particular view isn't defending that atheism as a whole is chaos. You have an argument.
I'm talking about atheists.
Atheism.
Well, if I'm talking about atheists and the worldview that atheists have, I'm obviously talking about atheism, sir. What are we doing here? But this
atheists can have chaotic view, but that doesn't follow that.
No,
the view
atheism, denying the existence of a God.
What's the argument?
Denying the existence of a God, denying an objective moral standard or a moral being that sets moral standards. It's ridiculous.
So
and also,
chaotic?
I just explained how you deny God. As a result of denying God, there's all these other arbitrary, absurd things that follow.
Well, that's just a repetition of the claim that denying God entails chaos. I'm asking,
that's not true. Because I told you what chaos. I told you why I believe atheism is chaos, and then I gave you why or how that is explained. Right? It's because denying God.
Chaos?
I just told you, sir.
What was it?
So you just forgot? You forgot that quickly?
No, I actually don't grant you said it, but supposing just for the sake of charity.
Oh, so you just forgot? So you literally just forgot what I just said?
No, I did hear everything you said.
Look, the sophistry is not going to work here, buddy. I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna work here.
Just so you don't cry. Suppose, I forgot. What was the answer?
No, you did forget, and I'm not gonna repeat myself. But so let's just go ahead and get to that. Let's go ahead and
wait. What?
Let's cook you up. Let's cook you up nice and real. Let's cook you up nice and slowly, really quick.
Implies chaos.
Yeah, let's just sauce you up and cook you nice and slowly, real quick. Do you believe that you have a moral standard?
Wait. No. That's a pivot. Look, I'm asking
no, it's not a pivot. We're talking about atheism.
Yeah, we're talking about your argument for this claim. Yeah, what's your argument?
We're talking about atheism being chaos. I'm about to show you how it's chaos.
So what's the argument?
We're about to cook you up nice and real slowly.
What are the premises?
Then we're going to get you out of here.
Yes, what are the premises?
Yeah, the premises is this, right? So you believe that you have some type of moral standard. I'm asking you, what is that moral standard? What is it?
An argument. No. You said you had an argument.
He doesn't want to get baked. He doesn't want to get baked. He doesn't want to get baked. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go through it.
Look, if you're going to concede you don't have an argument, I'm fine to go down this dialogue flow. But you're claiming you have an argument.
Just answer my question. Just answer my question. Are you scared to answer questions?
You're well, right now I don't need to answer a question since you're being evasive.
Oh, so you're scared.
I don't know. You're being
answer my question. I'm not being bad faith. Just answer my question.
But you understand
what's your moral
arguments
standard?
Don't contain questions.
What's your moral standard?
Yeah, but you don't need to know this to defend your claim.
What do you mean? I don't need to know this. Look, we're talking about atheism. What's your moral standard as an atheist?
What's your moral standard
as an atheist? I'm gonna ask it again. What's your moral standard for being an atheist?
when you wrote this background, you
what
were
is a
justified in
moral
believing,
standard?
right?
What is a moral standard for?
Yeah, but
when it
repeating
comes to
this
being
isn't
atheist?
helping.
Kylo, no, bro. I'm not trying to go on your YouTube channel, bro. Not yet. I need to do more studying.
Just work with me, right, to understand that.
I understand it's not helping because you don't want to answer the question. It seems like me asking the question, how is this not helping me? Because
Look,
the point of me
you're
asking the
being
question for you to
because
answer.
you claimed you had an argument
The
supporting this claim.
point of me
And then instead
asking
of
the
rendering
question
an argument,
is
you're
for
asking
you to
me.
answer.
Yeah, but this isn't producing an argument. So it's just being evasive from your
It needs
task.
to. Yeah, I agree. The question needs to
You
produce an
agree you're
answer.
being evasive?
The question needs to produce an answer.
But if you
See,
already
look,
have an
atheists
argument, you
never
don't
want
need
to
to
be
ask me
confronted.
anything.
They never want to let the blinds open. He wants to keep
Come on.
everything in the dark
All right.
like they
Just-
are. They're
just
in the
be for
dark.
real.
They're all in the dark.
No,
This is how
I'm
they
fine.
always act. Okay,
I'm fine
then
to go
if you're
down-
fine with answering the question,
Just
answer
no,
the damn
no,
question.
I'm fine to go down a dialogue flow, just as long as you concede you don't have an argument. If you have an argument, then we're not going to do the dialogue flow where you're asking me a question.
The
You're just
argument
gonna render
is
the
that
argument.
your view is absurd. That's why atheism is okay. P1
No, that's the
atheist.
conclusion
If
of
the
the
view
argument.
is
Where's the
absurd, no.
premises supporting
P1. I'm about to give you an argument. P1. If it's the case, your view is absurd. Your view is chaotic. P2. Your view is absurd, and there's arbitrary things in your view. Your view is chaotic. Now. I'm going to show this. Now I'm about to show this. Now I'm about to show this. Atheism is chaotic. You're an atheist, right? Are you not an atheist now? Did you become theist?
But that's not supporting.
Wait, did you become a theist 3 seconds ago?
No.
Okay, so you're an
This is
atheist, right?
not. This is not the conclusion I'm asking you to defend.
Look, bro, if you want me to start acting like a host, I'll start acting like a host because I'm trying to be as good. It's ironic you're saying I'm being bad faith. I'm trying to be good as faith as possible, but I haven't muted you or anything. You're not even answering my question.
I don't believe that.
You're not even answering my question.
I've explained why. You're not listening to why I'm explaining why I'm not answering. If you could just like actually hear why, because I'm not being evasive,
Answer my
right?
question.
I'm charging you. I explained how I'm not. Respond to why my explanation, then that would be substantive. Right?
What's your
Don't act like I haven't
moral
offered
standard?
like a response as to how I'm not being evasive and how you're being evasive, and then you didn't like respond to it. And then you
what's
just
your
like escape that.
what's your moral standard?
No, but I've explained why I'm not answering that. Look,
Okay, well he's not gonna answer the question. He says he's not gonna answer the question, so there's no point in me talking to him. Literally, no point in me talking to him. He's not gonna answer any question, so he's not gonna talk to me.
just work with me, right? It's not that hard. Just listen to what I'm saying and respond. I'm not being evasive. Your claim was that you had an argument for the claim on the background, and then when asked to render that argument, asking me a question when you already have an argument available is not rendering the argument. Such that if you have an argument, which you said you would produce the argument, that's not producing the argument. Now, if you're willing to concede you don't have an argument, I'm fine to answer any questions. But arguments are not construed of questions.
I gave you an argument.
If you have an argument, there's no need to ask me a question.
Oh.
The argument you gave me was for a different conclusion.
Oh, come here.
The conclusion on the background and the conclusion you gave me were not. It's not the argument I'm asking for. It's obviously not the same argument.
All right. Okay.
You gave me the argument.
I gave you an argument. I gave you an argument.
The conclusion of the
I
argument
gave you an argument.
me.
If you don't want to talk to me, I have a special guest here. His name is P. Mars.
But that's changing the subject. Right?
It's not. It's
the
not.
Argument.
Where do you get order? Where do you get order?
The conclusion of the argument is supposed to be atheism leads to chaos.
Okay, if you don't want to talk to me, we have a special
chaos.
guest here, P. Mars. Well,
Yeah,
everybody knows P.
your
Mars.
view is chaos. Because if reality
do.
is intelligible, if we can communicate and reason, there must be
Being
something.
given.
There must be something that makes logic and meaning possible. So that's
I'm
something
trying to talk with the host.
that something can't be blind matter or chance because those don't account for universal unchanging truths like logic and morality. So the Christian God is
Is he muting me or are you muting me?
I'm muting you because he's talking and you're not letting him speak.
I'm trying to talk with you right now.
Yeah, I'm passing the mic to P. Mars because you don't want to talk to me. I asked you a question 10 times. You didn't answer my
So I'm
question.
trying to
So we're
talk
gonna.
with you.
No, you're not. Just let P. Let
scared.
P. Mars talk.
He doesn't want
Wait,
to talk to someone.
I don't. Why are you?
Just let P. Mars talk. Yeah, I'm running. Let
Why
P.
are
Mars
you
talk.
running?
Go ahead. Yeah.
But why are you running?
Yeah, I'm running. But let P. Mars talk. Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't.
Just let P. Mars talk.
Oh, look at this guy.
Look at this guy. Well, he doesn't
talk to a host.
he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk about he doesn't want to have a conversation.
Look, host, if you're not going to talk with me, that's fine. I'll just leave.
Oh,
You're gonna run away.
You're
It's
admitting
ironic how you
talk
talk about me running away, but P Mars is here.
Yeah, why
you
don't
don't
you
want to
talk
talk?
to me? Then she a
Yeah,
big badass.
Yeah, come on.
I don't I don't suppose that he
Okay,
has
look,
an argument for
Monkey
this claim
Boy.
either,
Okay,
so
well
it's
then
not
P.
his.
Okay,
Of
It's
well,
not
course,
P.
I
his.
do have an argument for the claim. Where would you get order without an absolute?
That's a question. Great.
Okay, I won't make it. I won't. Okay, so if we can know,
Look,
if we can,
host,
if
as
we
long
can,
as you're not going to talk with me, I'm
oh my
fine
God.
to leave. Right? You dispatched yourself from the conversation.
This guy is so scared.
Look, he's running. Look, he's running, bro.
Are
We
you
have
a
Monkey
fraud?
Boy.
Monkey Boy, don't tell me you're a fraud.
No way, bro.
Are you a philosophical fraud? No way. I thought you were real.
Bro, just talk to P. Mars. Wait, why don't you want to talk to P. Mars? Why?
I mean, I've talked with him so many times in the past. It's like,
Yeah, and have you given me a counter argument to my argument? No.
Well, I'm not even convinced you've ever rendered an argument once.
Okay. Well,
in
why?
the past.
Why do I don't have to validate myself to you, right? So if you're not going to respond to the argument, I'll just assume the argument goes through.
Okay. I mean, go ahead.
All
Make
right,
whatever
then.
assumptions you want.
So you don't have. Wait,
in any
Monkey
case,
Boy, you don't have a response to the argument?
what argument?
The argument
Okay.
is that, like, without an absolute, the world would be chaos. There'd be no rhyme or reason for anything. There'd be no intelligence.
What's an absolute supposed to be?
Something that exists independently of anything. It's self-contained. It's unchanging. It's eternal. It's universal.
It's all of those things.
Yeah, and that something can't be blind to matter. Account for universal, unchanging
What?
truths, like logic and morality.
Wait,
Logic
but
and morality are
that's
universal,
just straightforwardly incoherent because predicates have the property of being universal, right? Not entities that are existent and their existence is independent of anything else.
What would any universal refer to?
Like when I say something's universal, that just means that that type of predicate is satisfied of every object in a domain. Like I can say like the set of cars is universally red, right? But I can't. It doesn't make any sense to say I exist and that's universal.
Okay, but we have universal unchanging truths, right? Like logic, morality. So how would you account for a universal unchanging truth?
What?
What?
Wait.
What? What?
The laws of logic are not true, and I don't think moral propositions are universal. I think they're variant on context, and the moral facts are very well to change.
Well, regardless of whether like logic is a proposition, there still has to be some like structure that provides some order that we can use logic, right? So you need
understanding what you're asking.
You're not. I'm talking about
I understand what it
metaphysical
means to say there's a
substrate.
structure to logic.
Yeah. So there's going to have to be some metaphysical substrate that's unchanging, eternal, absolute for logic to be grounded, right? So what would that be?
Well, wait, logic to be grounded, but that presumes that logic exists.
Right.
Oh well, I don't know if you maybe happen to have an argument for that.
You don't think logic exists?
No.
Then why would you ask me for an argument?
Well, to see how you're justified in the claim.
But I would use logic to make an argument. But you don't think it exists.
Yeah.
And you ask for an argument. That's a functional contradiction.
Of course, that's not a contradiction.
That's a functional contradiction, monkey boy. When are you going to become a monkey man?
Do you think like when children talk about math that they're like inherent or type of realist, but because they're doing like basic addition, you're not committed to any metaphysical thesis of a given formal system by merely using a formal system. That's like saying children are like mathematical realists or Platonists because they do addition in like first grade. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make
question whether or not the type of formal system or language exists, and Kwame using it is not actually a sufficient condition in kind of satisfying that claim.
All right, you just said a bunch of flowery words that didn't say anything. The fact of the matter is, if you say 1 + 1 = 2, whether you're 6 years old or 50 years old
I'm
or
saying
whatever,
the use of a formal system underdetermines whether or not it's real.
the use of a formal system underdetermines whether or not it's real. Okay, but if it's not real, then why would you ask for an argument?
To see how you're justified. In your
Yeah, but
claims.
what would justifications aren't real?
Well, yeah, in the
Hey,
philosophical sense,
hey.
yeah.
What?
So do you see what you're doing as a functional?
It's
Do you see how
incoherent
you're
to
just
say,
you see how
to
you're
say
just
they're real. Well, there's
That's like me claiming that English isn't
So,
real while
all-
using English.
This guy is a total fake, right? This is fraud.
well, there's a trivial sense when
You see how fake
where
this
they're real,
is?
and there's
This
a
is-
philosophically relevant and robust
He-
sense where they're not real.
philosophically. He doesn't know anything about philosophy. So like
People who are realists about language is fringe, right? It's not like a popular view in philosophy. Most philosophers of language deny like semantic externalism or
That's
semantic
because they
realism,
deny.
right?
That's because they
just
deny.
that language
Yeah,
is
who
real.
cares? So what? Can they defend that position? They only take
Well,
that
I'm
position.
responding to Mari saying like imagine
Oh my God.
saying English is not real, and most philosophers would actually say that.
Yeah, but philosophers, like, no one takes them seriously. Haven't you noticed that? Because they say a bunch of goofy stuff like what you're saying.
Yeah, but then you're talking about you're like providing an inference for theism and using all these philosophical devices, and then you're saying like philosophy is a joke. It doesn't even make any sense.
Well, because I'm talking about secular philosophy. So I think theology is what you need. Because secular philosophy ends in chaos. So without theology, we couldn't do philosophy.
What is there? There isn't a secular. You just mean people who happen to believe there's not a God.
People who try to reason without reference to God. So, like, people that believe in God can still do secular philosophy if they try to build a human system of logic without reference to God.
I don't know what it means to do philosophy referencing God.
It means you reason from you start with yourself as opposed to starting with God's revelation.
You start with yourself.
You have a
God's
starting
revelation.
You have
Do
a
you mean
starting
you start with
point.
God's revelation as opposed to myself?
I start my system with the Bible. I start with the Bible.
No, I mean, yeah. If you're just going to assume that, then of course, yeah. I don't reference theism. I don't assume.
Right. So you try to do some philosophy without starting with the Bible, but that entails a contradiction. That's impossible.
What contradiction does it entail?
You would affirm ability and deny the preconditions of intelligibility.
I don't grant there are preconditions for intelligibility.
So what? So
like, what's the argument for that?
The argument for the
doesn't-
preconditions for our intelligibility?
I mean, what is it?
Well, why would I need?
Like
Wait. Why would I need to make an argument? Why do I need to make an argument? You don't believe in
But
logic?
realize to say I presuppose that he is necessary as like the preconditions for intelligibility means I believe are those preconditions that are grounded in him, right? That's presuppositions like some type of unjustified belief, which is it's just not true. I have that type of attitude.
I'm not sure what the hell you're talking about. Like, the fact of the matter is, if reality
You're
is...
saying I assume them and I deny them, but it's not possible. I'm not assuming them because I don't believe in them.
when you're talking, you assume intelligibility.
Oh, you're saying that I'm doing like there's certain speech acts that those are like in some way contradicting.
You're functionally contradicting yourself every time you talk.
Okay, and how's that?
I told you. If reality is intelligible,
It seems like you're maybe doing that.
if we can know, communicate, and reason, there must be something that makes knowledge, logic, and meaning possible. And that something can't be blind matter or chance, because those don't account for universal unchanging truths like logic or morality. So the Christian God is the only foundation that is external, self-consistent, and personal, capable of revealing truth to us. So without...
I don't think
all
any
you're left
truths
with is
are
opinions floating in chaos.
changing, but-
All you have is chaos. But with God, the world makes sense. So like
I don't see how that is.
when I evoke facts, my facts have a home and a father in heaven. When you evoke facts, they're orphans.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see why I would think any of this.
Well, I don't... Of course, you're not going to think they're true because you're committed to sin.
I mean, there's quite literally
You're
not a
suppressing the truth
performative
and unrighteousness. It's not
There's
about...
quite literally
I don't,
not a performative contradiction.
well, you're not getting
what
this.
I'm doing,
I don't have
so.
to convince you of what I'm saying is true, because when you talk, you demonstrate what I'm saying is true.
It's not a matter of conviction or convincing. That's like psychological. There's a question whether or not you're justifying the claims you're uttering, and it's just not true that you've actually kind of established.
Can you be
anything like
justified
that.
in any claim? Because
Yeah, I mean, if you offer like an argument in support of them.
but to be justified in a claim, wouldn't you need something absolute to reason from?
No.
No. Okay, so truth can just shift and change?
True? You mean true
True?
propositions can change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course they do all the time. I mean,
All right, so
I
when
know
you
what it means
say
to
the
truth itself
cat...
changes, but true propositions change whether they're true or not all the time. Like it's true, I'm in
No.
some given like geography in space or something, and then next moment
Those
it's true,
object-
I'm not in that.
No, but like, okay, so you went to the supermarket yesterday, right? Or something. Let's say I went to the supermarket at 2 p.m. yesterday. That's true, right?
Okay.
Does it change?
Oh, no, that wouldn't change.
Right. So, for us to have an unchanging truth, what is it that is unchanging that could be a reference to an unchanging truth?
I don't understand what that's.
Okay, think of
Are you asking what explains why it doesn't change?
when we say something's true, we say that it hits the mark, like it corresponds to reality. But if nothing in
That's not
reality,
what I mean, but I don't understand this. You're saying like what explains why things don't change or facts don't change? Is that what you're asking? Or?
yeah, there has to be like an unchanging, eternal.
Well, I don't see why that has. It seems like you're assuming a PSR. I don't see why that would have.
I'm not assuming
an
anything.
explanation.
No,
Yeah, I don't see
explanations.
why that would have an explanation.
Because explanations themselves require connections between events and facts. So to explain something in philosophy, you have to be able to predict the future and account for like why you can predict the future that way, right? And so how would you explain anything without a single unifying concrete principle that would connect like future events and past events, for example? You wouldn't be able to predict the future without connections.
I don't know where you're going like all over the place. What,
I'm not going all of it. Let's just focus on explanations. To explain anything in philosophy, we have to be able to predict the future and account for how we can predict the future in that way. So God lets me predict the future because God, as the single concrete unifying principle, is going to connect future events to past events, which is going to be necessary to make any prediction. So explanations require a single concrete unifying principle. So what is your single concrete unifying principle that's not the Christian God of the Bible?
I don't know what a single concrete unifying principle is.
It's an absolute.
I don't know how this is.
It's an absolute.
Yeah, well, I barely grasped that, but I'm trying to understand why I think that the fact things don't change.
Can you explain something without
requires an
connection between
explanation.
past and can you explain anything without connections between past and future events? How would you predict the future if there's no connection?
What do you mean a connection?
Like they share a property. Like so my bike in the past would share the property, like my biking to my store, and then riding the bike home, right? Those are two events. Well, they share like properties, like I'm using the same bike. So that's a connection. Like
What
sharing.
does that have to do with events?
If they don't share properties, like if each event is all like a unique thing, it's not connected to any other event, that means like none of the identities in the event would connect. And if the
I don't know what it means for events to be connected.
it means that they share a property, like an identity. Like one event has the same identity as the other event, so that would be a connection.
I don't think there are identical events, but
So when you ride your bike to the store and you ride your bike home, those are different bikes?
no, that's a different question.
No, it's the exact same question. I'm talking about events sharing
We're
properties.
talking about
Like the event where you ride to the store,
the identity of an object.
You ride
I'm
home from
saying
the store.
Two events
those-
are identical.
No, they share properties. They share the property that you're using the same bike in the event. So
Okay, I agree.
there's the identities of the things in the events.
I agree you're using the same bike. What does that have to do with
Yeah.
why I
So
think that
how could it be the same
fact
bike?
things
Because that would require a
change or don't change,
How
facts
could
don't
it,
change,
because for it
requires
to
an
be for
explanation.
the event of you biking to the store and biking home, for that to be the same bike, you need a single concrete unifying principle to connect the events together.
I mean, I don't really see why I would think that requires an explanation.
Because in philosophy, monkey boy, an explanation is something that allows you to predict the future and account for how you can predict it in that way. And if none of the identities in the future and past events are shared or connected, then you couldn't predict anything. So you couldn't explain anything. So
Well, explanation doesn't have
require-
anything to do with prediction.
Dude, are you autistic? Like,
No, what I'm saying is just like true. I don't.
what are you saying that's true? What am I? Okay, so do the events
That
have
explain
this?
something doesn't have anything to do with prediction. But look, I gotta go. My lunch break
Oh.
finished. I mean,
get it.
I can try and stay 5 more minutes, but I can't stay on this whole time. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, anyways.
Well, because you're just ignoring what I'm saying, and you're not really responding to me. And you're pretending.
I'm not.
You're doing. You're dude. You are a
making any
fraud.
sense.
You're a fraud. You're lying. You're just
Well, you're saying things that are just straightforwardly. Like,
even if
like
I'm not
incoherent
making
or
sense. So
don't
then, what are
make
you?
any
Are you
sense.
too dumb to understand me? Then you're too dumb.
No, it's just no.
Okay, so I made an argument.
But that's an
Your
explanation
response
for
is
how
my
I don't
argument doesn't
understand
make
why
sense.
what
That's
you're
not a
saying.
counter argument.
Yeah, I never claimed it was.
Well, so I guess my argument goes through. All right.
Well,
You didn't respond to it. If you're not responding to the argument, then the argument goes through. You can't just say I'm not convinced. That doesn't.
Okay,
That's not.
what
That's, just
if
a-
I said?
that's what flat
if
earthers
pollution-
do, monkey boy. This
Yeah,
is what
what
flat
if I
earthers.
said?
It's like
If I
I
said, if
present
pollution
evidence that the Earth is
then
a
atheism
globe.
is true. Gloosh, therefore atheism is true.
If the
You
flat
say you
earther
don't
goes,
understand the first premise. I said, okay, then it goes through. That's just like an illegitimate.
but a
strategy.
flat earther could do what you're doing. A flat earther, you could present evidence of the Earth being a globe, and then I could just go, "Oh, I'm not convinced it's a globe." That doesn't mean that the argument doesn't go through.
I'm not convinced of what you're saying. I'm saying I don't understand what it is you're saying.
Holy fuck!
Okay, well, P Mars,
We
what's
can pick this up. Maybe not, because this is like complete trash. But I never knew that Maury stooped so low.
it's not really trash. It's not really trash because I mean you have no response to it other than say
You're
that.
trash
Oh,
too.
well,
The fact you're endorsing this garbage. You should have stuck to the scholastic stuff.
It is
That's
garbage about what
actually
I'm
better.
saying. All you're saying is you don't understand what I'm saying, and then now you're saying it's garbage. To say it's garbage requires an objective standard, a value. What's that?
Yeah, have a nice one.
Run away, run away. Never answered any of my questions. Just pretended not to understand English. I mean, this is great. This is great debate skills. I mean, this is the top atheist. Atheism is a joke.
Kylo, no, bro. I'm not trying to go on your YouTube channel, bro. Not yet. I need to do more studying.